Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the world of toys, but not just any toys. We're talking about the most dangerous banned toys ever made. You won't believe some of these. We're talking toys that caused everything from cuts and bruises to some seriously scary stuff. Get ready to have your childhood memories turned upside down, because some of these toys might have been your favorites. Kicking off our list at number 10, we've got lawn darts. Picture this: a sunny afternoon, you're out in the backyard with your family, tossing these giant darts through the air. These weren't your grandma's featherlight darts. We're talking heavy, pointed projectiles that could seriously injure someone. People were getting impaled. It got so bad that the Consumer Product Safety Commission had to step in and ban these backyard bad boys in 1988. Can you believe over 6,000 people were injured by these things? We're talking broken bones, concussions, even some truly tragic stories. They even tried to rebrand them as jarts and market them to adults. Thankfully, the ban stuck, and these hazardous toys are a thing of the past. So next time you're looking for some outdoor fun, maybe stick to frisbees or something a little less lethal. Coming in at number 9 is a childhood classic, the Easy Bake Oven. Who didn't love baking up tiny cakes and cookies in these things? But behind the sugary facade lurked a hidden danger: the heating element. This wasn't your mama's oven, folks. We're talking about a light bulb, cranked up to scorching temperatures, just waiting to burn any unsuspecting finger that got too close. Kids were sticking their hands in there to grab their culinary masterpieces and getting scorched. The original Easy Bake ovens used a 100-watt light bulb, which got seriously hot. Over the years, there were reports of kids getting their hands, arms, even their faces too close to that blazing bulb. Parents were understandably freaking out, and Hasbro, the company behind the Easy Bake Oven, had to make some changes. They eventually redesigned it, making the opening smaller and adding safety features, but the legend of the Easy Bake Oven burn lives on. So a word of advice to all you aspiring pastry chefs out there: proceed with caution and maybe grab an oven mitt or two. Sliding into number 8 are the seemingly innocent Aqua dots. Remember those colorful little beads that magically stuck together with a spritz of water? Turns out they were coated in a chemical that, when ingested, turned into something very similar to a certain illegal substance. The culprit was a chemical called 1,4-butanediol, which metabolizes into GHB, also known as the date rape drug. The worst part is, these beads were marketed as safe and non-toxic. Parents thought they were giving their kids a fun, creative outlet, not a one-way ticket to the ER. Thankfully, after numerous reports of children becoming seriously ill, Aqua dots were pulled from shelves. Faster than you can say, chemical recall. Coming in at number 7 is the Snacktime Cabbage Patch Kid. This particular model came with a unique feature that was a little too realistic: a mechanical mouth that could actually eat plastic snacks. Kids would stick their fingers in there thinking they were just helping their doll enjoy a snack, and bam! Fingers trapped. Hair, clothing, anything that got too close to this hungry hippo of a doll was fair game. There were reports of kids getting their hair ripped out, their fingers pinched, and even getting their fingers stuck in the doll's mouth, requiring a trip to the ER to get them unstuck. Needless to say, the Snacktime Cabbage Patch Kid didn't last long on store shelves. After countless complaints and a few lawsuits, it was recalled faster than you can say past the plastic carrots. So if you ever come across one of these dolls at a garage sale or antique shop, maybe just admire it from afar. At number 6, we have the CSI Fingerprint Examination Kit. This kit promised to turn your kid into the next Sherlock Holmes. But there was one tiny little problem hidden inside this seemingly educational toy: asbestos. The very same asbestos that's been linked to lung cancer and mesothelioma was lurking in the powder used to dust for fingerprints. Imagine this: your child is excitedly dusting for fingerprints, feeling like a real crime scene investigator, completely unaware that they're inhaling a substance that could have serious health consequences down the line. The really scary part is that asbestos exposure often doesn't show any immediate symptoms. It can take years, even decades, for the damage to become apparent. Once the news broke about the asbestos, the CSI Fingerprint Examination Kit was pulled from shelves faster than you can say, case closed. It just goes to show that even educational toys can have hidden dangers. Coming in at number 5 are the deceptively dangerous Magnetix. Who didn't love building towers, bridges, and all sorts of creative structures with these magnetic toys? But behind the fun and games hid a serious risk. Those tiny, powerful magnets. These weren't your average refrigerator magnets. These were small, powerful, and incredibly easy to swallow. These magnets would wreak havoc inside the body, sticking to each other through intestinal walls, causing blockages, internal injuries, and a whole host of other problems that no parent wants to imagine. The worst part is, the magnets were so small, parents often didn't even know their child had swallowed one until they started showing symptoms. The risks were so high that Magnetix were recalled multiple times, with millions of sets being pulled from shelves. So the next time you see a set of magnetic toys, remember the Magnetix saga and think twice. Taking flight at number 4 are the infamous sky dancers. These colorful fairies promise to twirl and dance through the air, bringing joy and wonder to children everywhere. But instead of enchanting smiles, they often brought tears and trips to the emergency room. Imagine this. Your child is excitedly launching their sky dancer into the air, watching it twirl and spin, when suddenly, that plastic projectile veers off course, aiming straight for their face. Kids were getting whacked in the face, poked in the eye, even getting their teeth chipped by these airborne attackers. The problem was the unpredictable flight pattern. One minute they'd be gracefully twirling through the air, the next they'd be dive-bombing towards unsuspecting victims. After countless injuries and a whole lot of lawsuits, sky dancers were eventually grounded for good. So if you ever come across one of these toys at a flea market or in your grandma's attic, maybe just admire it from a distance. Clacking their way into number 3 are the infamous clackers. Those two hard acrylic balls swinging dangerously close to your knuckles, promising hours of rhythmic fun. Well, more like hours of potential disaster waiting to happen. You're getting into a groove. Those balls are clacking like crazy when suddenly, BAM! They shatter into a million pieces, sending shards of hard plastic flying in every direction. Kids were getting cuts on their hands, arms, and faces. Some even got hit in the eye, risking serious vision problems. The problem was the acrylic itself. It was prone to cracking and shattering under pressure, especially when those balls were clacking at high speeds. The manufacturers tried to fix the problem by making them out of different materials, but the damage was done. Clackers had earned their reputation as a dangerous toy. So if you ever come across a pair of these vintage toys, maybe just admire them from afar. Launching into number 2 is the Battlestar Galactica Colonial Viper. This toy came with a tiny detail that was a big choking hazard: small, swallowable projectiles. Imagine this. You're a kid, soaring through the living room, battling imaginary Cylons with your Colonial Viper, firing those little plastic missiles with reckless abandon. But one of those missiles misses its target and ends up in the worst possible place: your little brother's mouth. These projectiles were the perfect size for choking. Small enough for a child to swallow, but large enough to get lodged in their throat, cutting off their airway. Thankfully, after numerous reports of choking incidents, the Colonial Viper was recalled. They eventually re-released it with larger, safer missiles, but the damage was done. So if you're ever feeling nostalgic for some Battlestar Galactica action, maybe stick to the TV show or the safer re-released toys. And finally, claiming the number 1 spot on our list of dangerous banned toys is none other than the Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab. This wasn't your average chemistry set. This was the real deal, folks. We're talking actual radioactive materials, packaged up and marketed to children as an educational toy. It came with 4 different types of uranium ore, a Geiger counter to measure radioactivity, and a cloud chamber to observe radioactive decay. Imagine this. It's the 1950s, and you're a kid fascinated by the wonders of science. You unwrap this amazing atomic energy lab, eager to unlock the secrets of the atom. Little do you know you're playing with fire, or rather radiation. The risks were very real. Exposure to radiation can cause cancer, birth defects, and a whole host of other health problems. Those radioactive materials could easily be spilled, tracked around the house, and even ingested if kids weren't careful. Thankfully, after a few close calls and a growing awareness of the dangers of radiation, the Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab was discontinued. So if you ever come across one of these vintage sets at an antique shop or online, maybe just admire it from a distance. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more crazy lists like this one. Let us know in the comments which toy shocked you the most. Can you believe some of these toys actually existed? It makes you wonder, what were they thinking? It's crazy to think that something designed to bring joy and entertainment could also pose such serious risks. But hey, it's a good reminder to be cautious and always do your research, especially when it comes to the things we give our children. See you next time!